Good Saturday afternoon and evening, everybody. My name is Mr. G, your meteorologist. Welcome to Elite Weather Forecasting here on this YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about your weather forecast coming up for the remainder of this weekend and into next week as well. So we're going to take a national look at this forecast. And again, my thoughts and prayers go out to the victims of the severe weather and the tornadoes across Mississippi and Alabama, where more than 26 people was killed by those tornadoes in that severe weather. But let's move on now and jump into our forecast and take a look at our national map. This is what we're looking at for the remainder of this weekend. We do have some wintry precipitation across the high plains and the Northern Rockies. We're seeing snow across the Cascade Mountains in the Pacific Northwest as well, and we're seeing snow through parts of Nevada, Utah, and Colorado. Rain showers and thunderstorms will be prevalent across the southeastern U.S. through parts of Jacksonville from Florida, through Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, through the mid-Atlantic states, and we're going to be seeing some of those showers across parts of the Northeast as well. A wintry mix will occur across parts of southern Canada and the Northeast, but extreme Maine could see some snow accumulation, and we're going to also see some snow accumulating through parts of northern Michigan and into Wisconsin and extreme northern Illinois. But it's not going to be a whole lot in the way of accumulation is what I'm trying to say. With this weather, we're going to be looking at 1 to 3 inches for the most part as far as snow accumulation, and we won't see any accumulation where we're seeing a mixture of rain and snow. And we're going to be looking at that nice warm weather across the southern plains and the Gulf Coast as they recover from yesterday's severe weather. But unfortunately, that respite is going to be short-lived as more severe weather is going to be on the way. Nice weather will prevail across the Southwest this weekend as well, but yet again you have another atmospheric river line of storms headed your way. So as we move into the upcoming week, we will see rain showers, thunderstorms, and more mountain snow across the Sierra Nevada and down into Southern California, and we will see more snow across the Rockies and the Cascade Mountain Range as well. Nice cold weather will prevail across the upper Midwest and the northern plains this weekend under dry weather conditions, but it's going to be quite chilly as that's where most of our cold air is residing this weekend. Now let's take a look at our next map here. We have our storm that's moving across the Northeast and the Great Lakes right now. This area of low pressure has a nice strong cold front extending down to the southeast. We are seeing thunderstorms along this cold front and very heavy rainfall through the mid-Atlantic states and severe weather down across the southeast into Florida through Georgia and the Carolinas as well. We're going to be seeing some isolated severe weather. I'm not looking for any tornado outbreaks or anything like that, but some isolated severe storms will be possible, and those main threats are going to be damaging winds and very heavy rainfall. Some hail will be possible as well with some of these thunderstorms, and we could be seeing severe thunderstorms all the way up into Ohio and parts of Pennsylvania as well as this area of low pressure snakes its way slowly off toward the north and east. It's going to begin weakening as it heads off to the northeast as well. So now let's take a look at that potential for severe weather across the Northeast as we look at the remainder of this afternoon and into the evening hours. So we're going to be seeing that potential for some severe thunderstorms across eastern Ohio, northwestern Pennsylvania, and parts of southwestern New York State. So the Buffalo area down through Pittsburgh and Cleveland could be seeing the potential for an isolated severe thunderstorm. But we're going to be seeing just general rainfall in the most part. But we can't rule out the possibility of an embedded severe storm as well. And that primary threat is going to be heavy rain with damaging winds, and some small hail is going to be possible as well. But I don't expect any tornadoes with this activity, but 1 or 2 small tornadoes could be possible, but not likely. Now, as this storm begins to pull off toward the north and east, we're going to be seeing a lot of wind screaming in from the northwest, as we do have high pressure across the northern plains. So over Minnesota and the Dakotas and southern Canada, we have a big ridge of high pressure that's going to be pulling winds down from the north there. So we're going to be seeing a northerly winds coming in, and it's going to turn northwest as it heads around the base of our area of low pressure. So we're going to be seeing high winds across the Great Lakes, so Detroit, Buffalo, Chicago, Columbus, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. Those cities will be dealing with some very gusty winds that's going to hit that 50 to 60 mile an hour range with some of those gusts. So it's going to be very, very windy out there, a little bit on the cold side as well. So it's going to have a bit of a bite to that wind as it's coming down from the north. So it's going to feel colder than it actually is. So it's going to make for some nasty wind chills for this time of the year. But as the day goes on and that low pulls away, those winds will subside as we head into your Sunday. We're going to be seeing those winds start to decrease as that barometric baroclinic flow starts to decrease, and we start to see that high pressure start to take over and move in across the Great Lakes in the northeast. Now, the southern end of that very same storm that we're talking about across the Great Lakes in the northeast right now, down along the tail end of that front, we will have some more severe thunderstorms down across the southeast. So Jackson, Mississippi, and through parts of Alabama, Atlanta, we're going to be seeing the potential for some severe thunderstorms. But our better risk for severe storms is going to be right across parts of southeastern Louisiana, central Mississippi, and north central Alabama, and extreme northern Georgia, just north to the Atlanta area tonight. We're going to be seeing those thunderstorms, and isolated tornadoes will be a possibility, and large hail, damaging winds between 60 and 70 miles per hour. Our storm max could see a wind gust of 80 miles per hour with some of those damaging thunderstorms out there. So that is a look at that severe threat across the southeast into Sunday and Sunday night. But as we go Sunday through Tuesday, we're going to be seeing a lot of heavy rain across the southeast, where we're going to pick up 2 to 4 inches of rain from Montgomery toward the Atlantic area and central Georgia. We're going to be seeing a lot of heavy rain, 2 to 4 inches. 1 to 2 inches is going to be possible across the North Carolina and South Carolina, and down along that Gulf Coast, we're going to see 1 to 2 inches of rain possible as well from Houston east to New Orleans and along the Florida Panhandle. Some more heavy rain that could lead to issues with flash flooding and some river flooding as well. All right, so here's a look at that thunderstorm and downpour. So flash flooding and travel delays is going to be a concern across the southeast as we head Sunday through Tuesday. Those showers and thunderstorms will continue down across the southeast as we have warm, moist air that's going to be coming up off of the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean. And we have that colder air to the north that's going to be screaming in behind our stationary front. So that front is going to hold steady right there and not move north or south much in the way of movement as we move into the week. So we will continue to see more persistent rain showers and thunderstorms down along the southeast and the Gulf coastal areas. And as we take a look at the northeast, as we have our Sunday, this is what we're going to be seeing. Our area of low pressure that's currently over the Great Lakes is going to head on up toward Nova Scotia. So we're going to be seeing that snow scoot on over toward that way. So we're going to be seeing snow across northern Vermont, northern Maine, and northern New Hampshire. So we're going to be seeing a few inches of snow across this region here as we move through the day on Sunday. But we're going to be seeing things kind of dry out across the other southern parts of the northeast. So Boston, New York City, Washington is going to see conditions improve, but it will be cool across the interior of the northeast, and those winds will be screaming in from the northwest. Remember, those 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts are going to be quite common across the northeast and parts of the Great Lakes tomorrow as our area of low pressure scoots on off to the northeast and high pressure starts to build in. Warmer air will start to rise up from the south as we have another area of low pressure that's going to be approaching from the southwest, and that's going to eventually bring more rain showers as we get into the upcoming work week. But right now, enjoy warmer weather down across the I-95 corridor for Washington and into Virginia Beach and down through the Carolinas, as we're going to be seeing those temperatures hit the 60s and some 70s start to work their way into that area as well. Now let's take a look at our jet stream that we're going to be seeing Tuesday and Wednesday. We have what's called a split flow. So we are going to have a split in the jet stream. We have a very strong subtropical jet coming from the south. So we're going to be seeing a lot of fast-moving storm systems through the mid-Atlantic and coming across the plains. And we're going to be seeing weaker storm systems and that cold air stay mainly confined to the Great Lakes and the northern plains, Minnesota and the Dakotas, and over towards Wyoming and Montana as well. It's where most of the colder air is going to remain in place as we head into the upcoming week. But we will see those fast-moving storm systems taking place along our subtropical jet, and to the south of that jet, we'll see a lot of warmth across the southeast, along the Gulf Coast and the desert southwest. Things will start to warm up as well, but we're going to still see more rainstorms along the west coast, the Pacific Northwest, California, and the desert southwest. More showers and rain and snow is going to come in as we head into this upcoming week. And as we get into Tuesday, we're going to start to see the first effects of that next atmospheric river-based storm off the coast of Northern California. It's going to renew our chances of flooding, and we're going to still see some strong winds with this storm, and we're going to be seeing coastal and mountain winds, and we're going to be seeing widespread triple problems as we're going to have flooding and heavy snow to continue across the mountainous areas as well, and falling snow levels. This is going to be a colder storm, and we could see that snow level get down to 2,000 feet. So we could see snow in some of the foothills, and even in the Southern California mountains. Again, we could see an instance where some of the metropolitan areas around the mountains might pick up a few flakes of snow as well. So that could make for some interesting weather headlines as we move in through the upcoming work week. Now let's take a look at that big pattern. We have that strong jet stream screaming down from the north and troughing out just off the coast of California and northwestern Mexico. And then we have that strong jet heading toward the Great Lakes and in the Midwest. And that's going to make our next storm around the base right here across the southwest and into California. So that means more heavy rain in California that will lead to that flooding, gusty winds, heavy mountain snow, and drought relief. So it's going to be more drought-busting rains across the desert southwest. But that will set the stage for some more severe weather across the southern plains and through the deep south as well. And some of those thunderstorms even might make it into the Midwest and parts of the upper Midwest as well next week. So I'm going to keep you on track and up to date onto what's happening with some of those storms as this situation unfolds with the latest round of wet weather and stormy weather coming off from the West Coast. Now, here's what we're going to be seeing as we head into the middle to later part of the week. On Thursday, our Tuesday storm in California will be in parts of the Midwest and across the Central Plains states. We're going to see an area of low pressure over Kansas and Nebraska, so that's going to help set the stage for more severe weather down across the Southern Plains. So Dallas, Fort Worth, down to Houston, and in Texas, we're going to see some severe thunderstorms, as well as into Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, again on Thursday, as that warm and humid air is going to get pulled up off of the Gulf of Mexico, but then that cold air is going to be on the northwest and the backside of that area of low pressure, and we're going to set up that springtime battle zone between that warm, humid air to the south and cold, drier air to the north. So we're going to see a dry line set up across West Texas and eastern New Mexico that will fuel possibly some gorilla hail and some isolated to our mesoscale convective systems. So we could see some very severe thunderstorms pop off across central and west Texas as we head into Wednesday, so some of that Gulf of Mexico moisture gets pulled up and gets entangled and intertwined in that storm. And that's going to make the potential for heavy snow across the upper Midwest. So Wisconsin and Minnesota, I think this storm might stay just south of the Twin Cities. The Twin Cities might get a glancing blow, but we might see an inch or two of snow, Minneapolis and St. Paul. Heavier snow amounts to the south and toward the southwest near Sioux Falls through North Platte, Nebraska, and into the state of Wyoming and Colorado is where we could pick up some heavier snow as we move on through the week. Now let's take a look at our pattern for April and May. This is the pattern that we're seeing this week is going to be a very common pattern that we see throughout the spring. We're going to see storms set up across the central and southern plains. We're going to see storms dropping down the west coast, either coming down a long wave trough off to the southwest or coming what's called an inside slider. They may come in across the Pacific Northwest like you see right here and slide in across Northern California and the Northern and Central Rockies and slide off into the plains. They might drop to the southeast a little bit before rounding the base of a trough on the east coast, but we're going to be seeing severe thunderstorms really prevalent across parts of the Midwest. So we're talking Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, Illinois, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, the Ohio Valley, so Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. We're going to see a lot of severe weather this summer, this spring, unfortunately. Lots of severe weather is going to be possible down across the Midwest, the Deep South, the Southeast, the Mid-Atlantic states, as we're going to get a lot of warmth coming up from that south as we get big ridges of high pressure, very transient conditions. So we're not going to see a lot of blocking taking place, but a very fast moving transient jet stream as we're going to be seeing a lot of those storms flying through there. But there's going to really tap into that Gulf of Mexico moisture and really tap and pull down that cold air out of Canada, especially in the Northeast. We didn't really see a pattern like that most of the winter, but a change in the pattern will be on tap for April and May. So we will see a bit cooler weather across the Northeast and a lot of severe weather across the Midwest, the plains, southern plains, and along the Gulf Coast and into the Southeast as well. So that is a look at the weather forecast for this upcoming week. My name is Mr. G with our second forecast video of the day. I'm going to try to get in 2 videos as I can a day because I think everything's very active right now, and I think it's very important to get some of these forecasts out there. So leave your likes, comments, feel free to subscribe to the channel. This is Elite Weather. My name is Mr. G. Have a good weekend, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye.